Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Monday, January 22nd, and happy to be back in studio alongside Kevin Coleman as we hit the halfway point of the winter season, Kev.
Yeah, we're looking forward to what should be a good playoff run for the next, couple weeks left in January. We got some good matchups coming up the next couple weeks, and of course February we have some really good matchups, not only in hockey but basketball as well. We got wrestling coming up as well. We got indoor track, so a lot going on, a lot happening. So a lot to look forward to here on the HAN Network.
Yeah, we are 10 days away from our first winter season championship next Thursday, February 1st. We have got the indoor track and field championships for the FCX. So a very fun event. We're looking forward to getting back up to the Floyd Little Athletic Center, and it should be a great one, especially with so many of last year's top athletes. When you think about some of the field events, some of the best sprinters in the conference all returning for this season.
You're right. I want to see how Danbury responds after, see if they can go back-to-back here for another
back-to-back. This would be a fifth consecutive conference title here. For Danbury, if they were able to win.
They're obviously the big storyline coming in. I want to see how the other teams do as well. You got Wilton, of course, who's always been contending very well. So it's going to be a fun day. A lot of good athletes show up at Hill House, so it's going to be a fun afternoon.
Well, definitely a blast, and you're right. We've got wrestling coming up as well, and then before you know it, we will be into the quarterfinals for basketball, hockey, and who knows? We're probably just right around the corner from the spring tour here. On the HAN Network. But it is a Monday, Kev, and I want to start the same way we always do. We have Athlete of the Week winners on the HAN Network, and congrats to Chris Brown of the Trumbull boys basketball team and Sammy Lindell of the Darien girls skiing team. The Darien sophomore Lindell took first place for the second time in as many meets last Wednesday at Mount Southington. For the second race in a row, she was the only racer out of a field of 90 girls who finished with a time of under 44 seconds in her combined two runs. And Brown went off for 24 points, 11 of those in the fourth quarter, when Trumbull defeated St. Joe's 63-61 in their Officials versus Cancer Classic game. Brown was 9 of 17 from the floor, 2 three-pointers, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 5 block shots. He followed that up with 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists in Trumbull's 55-41 victory over Staples last Thursday. So congratulations again to Chris and Sammy. For our first female nominee of this week, let's go over to Kevin Coleman.
Thank you, Frank. First up, we got Richfield girls basketball. Caroline Colonel is your first nominee. Colonel scored 10 points when the Richfield Tigers handed Trumbull their first loss of the season, 33-32. Colonel had 14 points in Richfield's 54-35 win over McMahon on Friday night.
All right, and this was an athlete we got to see in person, our first male nominee, Matt Houghton, who went 8 of 9 from three-point land, finishing with 24 points in Wilton's 75-58 victory in our HAN Network Game of the Week. What a night for the junior, Kev.
Yeah, 8 3-pointers. He had himself quite a night, but we'll switch things over to Fairfield girls hockey. We got Sydney Falter. Sydney came up with a huge stopping 24-25 shots in Fairfield's 2-1 win over SWS. With the win, Fairfield remained in the top 4 of the FCX standings.
Tyreek Langley of the Norwalk boys basketball team went for 27 points in the Bears 70-67 victory over Bridgeport Central on Friday. Norwalk improves to 4-2 in FCX play, just a game out of 4th place now.
And we're going to stay with girls hockey here with Greenwich. Jesse Aislinn. Aislinn made 23 saves and stopped a penalty shot as Greenwich defeated New Canaan 4-1 in a key FCX game last Monday at Hamel Rink in Greenwich.
Staples track and field captain William Landown won the 3,000-meter race and anchored the records in winning the 4x800 relay team race during the 3060 Yale Classic meet last weekend. Landown was first in the 3,000 with a time of 8 minutes 33 seconds. And the relay team, the 4x800 relay team, won the Connecticut race in 8 minutes and 3 seconds.
And we go back to the hardwood here for girls basketball. Megan Lansettle of Stanford girls basketball. Lansettle scored 17 points, including 15 on 5 three-pointers during Stanford's 58-52 win over Darien on Friday. Megan, 8 of the sophomores' points came in the fourth quarter when the Knights outscored Darien 20-11 to get the come-from-behind victory.
Jordan Marchese of the West Hill Stanford boys hockey team scored a hat trick in West Hill Stanford's 9-1 victory over Wilton. Terry Connors, it was the first FCIAC win of the season for Stanford West Hill, who now sits at 3-3 overall in Division II.
And finally, the last nominee here for girls over in Fairfield Ludlow track and field is Tess Stapleton. Stapleton, a freshman, claimed first place in long jump at the 36th Yale Classic this weekend. Her winning mark of 17 feet 6 inches beat Jumi Akinyumi, look at that name, of Beacon, Massachusetts, who was second at 17 feet 3 inches.
And our final nominee from the Richfield boys basketball squad is James St. Pierre, who went for 25 and 7 boards in a 68-52 win over Brian McMahon. The junior shooting guard spurred Richfield's second half rally, scoring 19 of his 25 points in the final 2 quarters. Today's poll will be up on HAN.network under our Athlete of the Week tab at 3 p.m. Make sure you head online, submit your vote for who you want to be the Week 3 HAN Network Athlete of the Week. Kevin and I have got to take a break here on Nutmeg Sports. When we get back, we've got highlights from hoops at the end of last week, a couple of big games and a couple of big wins for teams at the top of the conference. That's next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac,
I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
Back on Nutmeg Sports on the HA Network, Frank Granito alongside Kevin Coleman in studio. Looking back to our coverage of last Thursday's Game of the Week in the FCIAC, and Kev, I think we certainly learned how legit this year's Fairfield Ward team is in boys basketball.
Well, not only do we learn how legit they are, we also learned how dominant Sean Conway is. He put on a performance, but if you talk to people, you know, Matt Houghton obviously stole the show, 8 3-pointers. But man, Sean Conway, I know he's averaging 30 points a game, only 25 points for him. That's
scary that we're saying only 25 points.
Only 25 points for Sean Conway. You could tell just speaking to a couple of coaches who were there as well, watching the game from other teams in the conference, and he's improved on his game so much. You can tell he put in the work during the offseason. He had a great junior year. But you could tell he has expanded his game. He's really worked hard during the summer months, during the off season, getting ready for this season. He's taken this conference by storm, even the state by storm. He is obviously has to be a name as one of the top players in the state.
There are just so many things that he can do well, and he can impact the game in so many different ways. You know, you're right. He went for 25 points, which seems like a bad night, but he assisted on, I think, at least half of the Houghton three-pointers. He had a couple of big rebounds, obviously some big steals. He is a do-it-all player in this conference right now. He makes everyone on the court alongside him that much better, and it's why you're seeing this Ward Mustangs team that we didn't know a lot about coming into the year after losing so many pieces excel and continue to exceed any expectations that could have been set for them.
Well, that's why I was looking forward to seeing how they were going to go up against Wilton, because you look in that game, you know, Wilton always double-teamed him, but he was still able to find ways to score, and that's the scary part, I think, if you're any team, especially going to the playoffs. A team like Wilton, who is very strong defensively, they weren't able to shut him down.
No.
And there are other players on this roster who can also, you know, get big shots. Look at Houghton, you look across the board. I mean, you got guys, Dan Fitzpatrick, I know he got into a little bit of foul trouble, but I thought he put in some good minutes as well. Up and down this lineup, there are guys, Matthew Becker, I thought had a really nice game as well, hit a couple of clutch three-pointers and some jump shots. He's a good body down low for Fairfield Ward, but it's going to be interesting to see down the road in the playoffs, how are they going to play? The big game for me is how they go up against the Richfield Tigers, that last game of the season. That's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on. But right now, those two, the Richfield Tigers and the Ward Mustangs, you see them 1 and 2, are going to really battle it out for that top spot here in the West. It's really going to be a fun battle.
And I don't think it was as widespread as the score showed in the way Wilton played. I think it was a bad night for the Warriors. There are some defensive points that they probably could have shut down and kept it a little closer, and there were a lot of layups. I know, talking with Coach Garyak afterwards, that team has to make. So I don't think there's a 25, 30-point gap between Ward and Wilton, but that being said, this is a different Warriors team than we've seen, you know, the past 2 years. They can't afford to have that kind of an off night in what, again, is just a conference that continues to get more competitive top to bottom in the depth of this league.
They'll bounce back from this. This is a team that, you know, we know if they can hit their shots early, they're going to be on for the rest of the night. Shots weren't falling. That's when the Warriors start to, not collapse, but start to break down a little bit. Brancato had a tough night, of course, coming back to Ward, a little bit of difficulty for him.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you up. That's something I definitely do want to talk about as we move forward in the show. Let's run the highlights here, but that is something that stood out to me because the young man looked proud in his return home as Ward rolls 75-58. Here's a look at Thursday night's game of the week.
Brancato into the lane, freezes, up off the glass, and his first points draw a loud cheer from the Warriors tribe.
Well, that's got to help the jitters, too.
Three-pointer on the way, and it's good. As Nick Crescione into the game for the first time. Three-pointer from Becker, and it's good. Conway spinning his way out of trouble. Three-pointer, Crescione, good.
Conway the entire time.
Oh, they might want to mark up Houghton. He's got another three. Double team comes to Conway. Three-pointer, Becker, yes! Conway, pull up three, got it!
God, House, you can't stop him, you can't.
Deep three from Becker is good. Saganos all the way around, and he finds Houghton in the corner. There's his third three of the night. Houghton catch and shoot three, another. Becker. Now it's Houghton, thought about it. He's gonna try it. Oh!
Woo! Steph Curry range. My goodness.
Becker navigating the floor. Conway, now he wants the three. Yes! Oh! Three-pointer, it's your boy. Becker, corner, Houghton for another one. You got it.
Wow.
Conway outside. Now he's got Houghton open in the corner. Another one. Oh my goodness, Kevin. His 8th of the night.
8 3-pointers.
So a lot of Matt Houghton in that highlight. Again, the young man going 8 of 9 from behind the three-point line. Just an absolute career game for the junior. I was able to catch up with him afterwards. Tough with most of the student section trying to get a high five in there. Let's hear what Matt thought after the team's big win.
Thank you, Kevin. Join with our player of the game, Matt Houghton. Matt, first of all, congrats, man. 8 3-pointers tonight. Were you feeling it from the get-go?
I was. It's all on my teammates. They found me. I hit my open shots. What can I say?
Well, you really got going in that second half. You had 6 in the third quarter. 6 in the fourth, man. I mean, when you got going in that third quarter, what was the mentality?
I just kept wanting to get the ball and making all.
Hey, you guys remain unbeaten now in FCAC play. What's working right now for this team?
All the teamwork. We're playing great defense. It's all about the defense and the teamwork.
You guys have got some big games coming up ahead. What's the mentality of the team? How do you keep playing this well?
Keep playing hard, bring a lot of energy to every day to practice, and take it from there.
Matt, what a great night for you, man. Enjoy the moment. Congratulations, buddy. Kevin, back over to you.
And Kevin, this is now a team where you look at a player like Houghton coming off the bench. If they can get production out of that kind of depth on their roster, I think they're as competitive and as scary as any team in this conference right now.
I fully agree. If you got guys hitting 8 3-pointers coming off the bench, this is a team that, without a doubt, has to be a favorite going into the conference tournament and the state tournament as well. You know, they have to continue to play this way. And you look at guys like Jeff Saganos. I thought he didn't. It's not going to show on the stat sheet, but I thought he did a great job of breaking the press against Wilton Warriors, doing a nice job of bringing the ball up as the point guard. The junior really developing into a good player, and I think that's really that really showed in that game against Wilton. Very mature, but again, this is a very balanced Ward team. They had great pieces last year. I know they lost, especially a guy like Marcel Parsons, great basketball player. But to have a balanced team like this year, you got to feel good if you're a Ward Mustang. And just to looking at those highlights, Matt Houghton, to hit 3-pointers like that, when you're on a roll, there is no better feeling when you're just hitting them, not 3-pointer after 3-pointer, and especially in front of your student section, there is no better feeling than that.
And so you look at it now, big game coming up against New Canaan. I think we see the Rams gave Trumbull a little bit of trouble the other night as well, so it's a New Canaan team that, if you get caught up in the moment of that Wilton game, can surprise you there. But they get New Canaan, Amity at home, which will be a good matchup. It's an Amity team that's playing well. Then you get Danbury, Darien, Trinity, Stanford, Trumbull. So you've really got to continue to embrace this now. Buckle down. I talked with Coach Swaller before the game. It's like, it's one at a time now. Yep. And if they've got that mentality, they can be really good. On the other side, for Wilton, Kev, they're going to bounce back with Darien, Trinity, and then Ridgefield. So they've got a tough little stretch here coming up. And right now, sitting tied for 7th in the conference, if they let a week's worth of games get away from them,
and they're in trouble.
We're talking about a Wilton team that might not be making the playoffs.
They are on the brink of being in trouble. They have to take care of business against Darien. That's a game they have to win. It's not.
It is, no.
They have to win. Trinity is going to be a close game, I think. Those two, that's going to be a close game. Richfield's going to be close as well. The fact that they're going to have that game at home against Richfield benefits them. They're a great team at home. And those two games, Trinity and Richfield, are going to learn a lot about the Warriors.
Darien, Trinity, Ridgefield, Central, Trumbull. Your next 5 games, you have to get 3 of those.
Yeah, you do. No, you absolutely do. And you're going to see now that battle. A lot of these teams trying to get in as the 7th or 8th seed. Wilton's going to be right there trying to battle it out. It's not going to be easy. Those top 5, top 6 teams really are playing well.
And you've now got the top 10 teams in the conference are all about to play each other on their schedule. The schedule sort of flips now, and everyone who is sitting in playoff contention at the moment is about to play against each other in the next 3 weeks. So there will be a lot of good matchups coming up in FCAC basketball. Let's take one more break. When we get back, Kev was at West Hill Friday night. He's going to help break down Trinity Catholic's big win in the city rivalry on the road. That's next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
At Rings End, we say it's time to re-love your home. Time to refresh and reinvigorate the way you live. And whether you're redoing something big or small, remember the letters RE stand for Rings End. We're the new model in home remodeling.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com. Get a fresh...
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HN Network. Kevin Coleman, Frank Granito, breaking down West Hill Trinity from Friday night. I know, Frank, you were absent, but it was a good matchup between, a West Hill team sitting at home, looking very confident in that first quarter, and then once that second quarter came around, things just kind of fell apart. But I thought West Hill played extremely well in the first quarter, getting out to a quick 7-0 lead, getting some nice buckets down low, a couple 3-pointers. Sam Lambino played well for West Hill, but at the end of the day, Trinity really started to hit their form right before half, and then second half, it was just all Trinity.
It's weird because we're talking about a West Hill team, Kev, that is just 2 years removed from their second of back-to-back FCX championships. And now you're getting the feeling that they are closer to missing the tournament for back-to-back years than even getting back into the FCX tournament.
It is a little weird, but they're also going through a little bit of a transition period, and they have good players. It's just when it's all said and done, you put it on the court, it all has to come together, and that's the one piece that they're missing. They're missing size too. I think they were outmatched down low. Contavio was too much down low for them as well, and Dimitri Moyes was, I thought, had a better second half, struggled in the first half. I think he was 0 for his first 8 or 5 or something like that. Suppy and I were speaking about it, but that first quarter, Trinity struggled, and you really saw it. And they turned the ball over, they were sloppy with it, and then just that second quarter, they really picked things up. I thought it was important. Those last 2 minutes of the second quarter were very key for Trinity to kind of bounce back, and then once they came out at halftime, it was their entire second half.
Well, it's a Trinity team that we keep talking about the inconsistency, and they're very streaky, so many highs and so many lows. They only have one loss in conference right now. Yeah. It's in overtime against Ridgefield, who's sitting at 7-0 and atop the league. So as much as, we've tried to kind of nitpick at what Trinity's doing, they're still on schedule for where they should be. If you were going to say you're going to hit the midway point of the season and your only loss is against the #1 team in the conference, they're not going to complain. They're sitting in the top 4 of the league. So, but I agree that games like Friday night, that kind of a struggle early on, it's a little concerning because of how talented we believe the Crusaders can be.
Yeah, they can't have slow starts like this the rest of the year. We mentioned how Wilton and Trinity will be facing off pretty soon. That's a game that Trinity can't start slow. They have to start with a fast pace against a Wilton team who is very fast paced. But I thought Cameron Blake played well. He's a guy I don't think gets enough recognition. Another guy who I thought had a great game was Rasheed Constant. He had some big steals, a couple big 3-pointers. He was key for the Trinity team to get a win on Friday night. And we'll take a look now. Highlights from Friday night's game. West Hill Trinity. Let's take a look at what we saw from Friday night.
McGill down the corner, fakes his shot, goes baseline, kicks it out to Cameron Blake. Cameron Blake, hesitation. Beautiful duck down low, and the slam is good. Dutrell Contavio, and Trinity's finally on the board.
I can't imagine that's what the shot they wanted there with the arrow going to
Shot
Trinity.
for the buzzer's good. For Dutrell Contavio off the bank, and that'll end the first quarter. Good showing from them, of course. No crowd was allowed. A good steal here. Here's Constant. His layup is good. A nice steal there on the break. And he'll kick it back over to Constant to Blake. Blake's 3-pointer's good from downtown.
If you're West Hill, what you really don't want to do on offense is force.
Constant for 3, and it's good. Inside to Stockman. Stockman pump fakes. Open 3 is good. Big 3-pointer there for the junior. The Vikings only trail by 3 now.
3-pointer for Eli Stockman.
3-pointer on the way, trading threes now. On both sides, Cameron Blake hits it from deep.
If you're Yagoba in there, you got Contavio off of his feet, and then he passed up the chance to put it up.
Cameron Blake for 3, and it's good, the dagger. McGill's alley-oop on the way to Contavio. What a pretty play for Trinity Catholic. Now, cross-court pass, good passing here. Another alley-oop on the way, and it's good. This time, Dimitri Moyes to Dutrell Contavio. Well, the horn will sound, and Trinity Catholic will go home with the win, 55-34. A big win for Trinity.
You see there a nice dominant play there from the Trinity Catholic Crusaders. Even a couple alley-oops there to Dutrell Contavio. So a couple nice flashy plays by Trinity. But again, good ball movement, I thought, better in the second half for the Crusaders. Something that Coach Mike Walsh, I know he looked very frustrated in that first quarter. Sloppy play, turnovers, but at the end of the day, they really picked things up in the second quarter and all the way through the second half. But really nice play. I like this Trinity team. I think they're going to be a dangerous team once they get into the playoffs.
Get on the bandwagon. I do want to just switch sides here for a second, go over to the ice. Saturday, there was a big game at Darien Ice House. Of course, New Canaan Hockey Boys playing against Notre Dame of Fairfield. It was Nico Malazzi's game as the team welcomed head coach Marvin Minkler of Nico's youth hockey team. To talk about the legacy of the young boy. They had the family in attendance, and it was a big comeback win for the Rams that meant more than just 9 points in the standings on Saturday. I was there for the game. It was a beautiful speech and moment of silence before the game. The team got together at center ice, gave a salute to Nico's family afterwards. And, Kev, obviously on a day when it was a game that was bigger than Connecticut hockey. Yeah. I think we actually learned a lot about this New Canaan team. They did a really good job coming back. Dylan Shane played great again in net. The boys got depth scoring. Quinn McMahon, Gunnar Granito, Brennan Knightley, Eric Semino, Griffin Arnone, all scoring goals in the win for the Rams. But it's becoming very apparent to me now that you're looking at Fairfield Prep and then everyone else in Connecticut.
You are. I think Fairfield Prep certainly has sent the message to the rest of the state saying that we're a legit team. And just quickly going back to New Canaan, I think even, from when we saw them the first couple weeks of the season, they were struggling. This is a very different New Canaan team now. I think once they got past the new year, this is a brand new team, and it's good to see them coming together for a good cause like this. And you see the chemistry on the ice and in the locker room as well. This is a very close team that's gotten a lot closer, so it's good to see what they did.
It's a group of guys who have started to really appreciate the speed of hockey, and I think that Prep has asserted themselves and established they are the best team in the state right now. My big concern is that Prep is so much better than the rest of the competition, because if you're Notre Dame of Fairfield, you were sitting at number 2 in the state, at least points-wise, entering into this game. This is a bad loss against New Canaan, a team that you really should have controlled the pace of play with. We saw Prep play Darien as well after the game. I thought Darien played well, did a much better job the second time around against Fairfield Prep. But Prep, it really felt like they kept the reins on the big horses. They could have really outskated, outskilled Darien at times and didn't let their players play to the rest of their ability. Darien was coming off a tough loss too, 4-1 now against Prep, and before that against Staples. Staples is legit,
yeah,
and I think they have got to be considered the favorite right now at the midway point to win Division III. Sam New, easily an all-state hockey player.
Yeah, I think Staples has a great opportunity, and this would be big for their program, considering this is kind of a new year for them, new look. I think this would be big for the Staples program, and for Darien, I think now it's time for them to, these are a couple tough losses, and that's understandable. But now it's time to start to get some wins under your belt.
The FCAC tournament is going to be really interesting. We're going to learn a lot more about the FCAC tournament this afternoon. New Canaan and Greenwich from Dorothy Hamill. I think that's a big game for the Cardinals and for the Rams. If they can sustain a little consistency here, that would go a long way. I also want to give a big shout out to the Norwalk McMahon co-op squad. 4-3 victory over St. Joe's amidst the story of their former head coach, Dale Wemhoff, coming out and his suspension heading into the year. So good to see the boys putting all that aside, take care of business. Tough weekend for the Trumbull hockey teams, and I'm sorry, Steve. St. Joe's falling 4-3, Trumbull falling 6-5 in overtime to Fairfield. So lots of fun right now going on in all the FCX sports. Of course, we're back tomorrow. We get to see Staples and Norwalk, our first look at the Lady Bears in girls basketball. And I promised Steve I wouldn't do this, but I would like to take a minute here and obviously offer a special thank you again to the Connecticut Soccer Coaches Association, recognizing the HAN Network with their Bo Kalinsky Media Award. It was greatly appreciated. We, of course, loved covering soccer all fall long. Happy to get to work with all of those athletes and coaches alike. Kevin and Steve were up there last night. They had a great time. And before we get to a picture of Kevin, let me say I'm Frank Granito. He's Kevin Coleman. Steve, stop running pictures. We're done for the day. We'll see you back here next time. Nutmeg Sports, as always, on the HAN Network.